Deep in the heart of Texas, there is a place where shadows never seem to lift, no matter how bright the moonlight shines. Locals whisper about it in hushed tones. Parents warn their children never to wander near it, and thrill seekers drive across it at night just to test their courage. It is called Goatman Bridge, and for more than a century, this place has been at the center of one of America's creepiest urban legends. Some say the bridge is cursed. Others say a monstrous creature roams its wooden planks after dark. But everyone agrees Goatman Bridge is no ordinary landmark. It is a place where folklore bleeds into reality, where the boundaries between the living and the dead are dangerously thin. Imagine driving down a narrow Texas road on a foggy night. Your headlights catch the silhouette of an old, rickety bridge stretching across the water. You hear nothing but the sound of your tires on gravel and the faint rustling of leaves in the distance. Then, just as you approach, a shape emerges in the mist. It's tall, broad-shouldered, with horns curling from its head and glowing eyes that lock onto yours. Do you cross the bridge, or do you turn back before the Goatman decides you've gone too far? Welcome to Denton County, Texas, home to the infamous Goatman Bridge, officially known as Old Alton Bridge. Built in 1884, the bridge was originally constructed as a simple iron truss to connect the towns of Denton and Copper Canyon. At first glance, it was nothing more than a functional crossing, an ordinary piece of rural infrastructure. But as the years went by, stories began to swirl, transforming this ordinary bridge into a nightmare. To this day, Goatman Bridge is said to be haunted by a vengeful spirit, or perhaps something even darker, something not entirely human. Tonight, we will uncover the origins of this terrifying legend, the chilling encounters that continue to this day, and the unanswered questions that keep Goatman Bridge one of the most feared locations in Texas. The legend begins in the early 20th century. As the story goes, a black goat farmer named Oscar Washburn made his home near the bridge. Washburn was a respected man in the community, known for raising healthy goats and selling quality meat, milk, and hides. He was even given the nickname the Goatman by neighbors, a title he carried with pride. But success often breeds resentment, and Washburn's prosperity attracted the hatred of local clansmen. One night, in a vile act of racial violence, they stormed his home, dragged him to the bridge, and placed a noose around his neck. With cruelty in their hearts, they threw him over the side, leaving him to die in the murky waters below. But when they looked down, the rope was empty. Washburn's body had vanished. Furious and terrified, the men rushed back to his home, only to find it burning, his family slaughtered. From that night onward, Goatman Bridge was never the same. Drivers crossing late at night reported seeing a shadowy figure with horns waiting at the center. Others heard guttural growls and the sound of hooves scraping against metal. Some even claimed their cars stalled without explanation, as if the Goatman himself was warning them not to continue. The details vary from story to story, but they all share a common theme. Goatman Bridge is a place of anger, tragedy, and restless spirits. Some say the Goatman is the vengeful spirit of Oscar Washburn, seeking justice for his wrongful death. Others insist the creature is not human at all, but a demonic entity that took root in the area, feeding off the violence and fear that stained the land. Witnesses describe glowing eyes peering from the tree line, sudden temperature drops, and the unmistakable sound of heavy breathing just inches away in the darkness. One of the eeriest aspects of the legend is the ritual many thrill seekers claim can summon the Goatman. According to local lore, if you stand on the bridge at midnight and call his name 3 times, Goatman, 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 a shadowy figure will appear. Some say you'll hear hooves on the wooden planks. Others say your vision will blur, and you'll feel as though invisible hands are gripping your throat. There are even stories of cars being violently shaken or scratched when parked near the bridge at night. For those brave or foolish enough to attempt the ritual, the Goatman rarely leaves them unmarked. Over the decades, Goatman's Bridge has become a magnet for paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, and curious locals. Television crews have filmed there, psychics have conducted seances, and countless YouTube explorers have documented their nighttime visits. Almost all of them report strange activity, mysterious lights that flicker without source, electronic equipment failing, and disembodied voices caught on recording. Skeptics argue these experiences can be explained by natural phenomena, swamp gas, faulty wiring, or overactive imaginations fueled by fear. But those who've stood on the bridge in silence, only to hear the distinct sound of hooves approaching in the dark, aren't so quick to dismiss the legend. The Goatman story has also branched into multiple versions over time. In some tellings, the Goatman is not Washburn's ghost, but a half-man, half-goat monster created through satanic rituals. In others, it's said to be a fey-like trickster spirit, punishing anyone who dares mock the natural world. Still others believe the bridge is a portal, a place where the barrier between dimensions is thin, and the Goatman is simply the guardian of whatever lies beyond. Each theory adds another layer of unease to the already chilling lore. There are even eyewitness accounts from the modern era. In the 1990s, a group of teenagers claimed they saw a massive figure with horns chasing them from the bridge into the woods. In 2003, a local man reported his car shaking violently as he tried to drive across, only to find claw-like scratches down the side the next morning. More recently, paranormal investigators claim to have captured thermal images of humanoid shapes that vanish the moment you look directly at them. Whether these accounts are evidence of something supernatural or simply the product of fear, they have cemented Goatman's Bridge as one of the most haunted locations in the United States. So what is the truth about Goatman's Bridge? Some explanations lean toward the rational. Skeptics argue that the tragic story of Oscar Washburn has been exaggerated or even fabricated, as there are no official records confirming his existence. They suggest the Goatman is a classic example of folklore blending racial violence, cultural memory, and local superstition. Others propose psychological explanations. When people visit the bridge at night, their senses are heightened, fear takes over, and the mind creates the very horrors they expect to find. Shadows become figures, the wind becomes whispers, and imagination transforms into reality. But for many, these explanations fall short. How do you explain the countless scratches on cars, the recorded voices calling out from nowhere, the photos showing horned figures where none were seen in person? Even today, visitors report being overwhelmed by an oppressive sense of dread as soon as they step onto the bridge. The air feels heavier, the silence unnatural, and more than one person has fled in panic, convinced they were being watched. Perhaps the most chilling twist is that Goatman's Bridge is not unique. Across the United States, similar legends of half-human, half-beast creatures haunt rural areas. Maryland has the Goatman of Prince George's County. Kentucky whispers of a Pope-lick monster, and Texas has its own terrifying guardian in Denton County. Are these legends connected? Are they regional variations of the same entity? Or do they point to something far older, a primal fear that manifests differently depending on where you stand? One thing is certain: Goatman's Bridge has left an indelible mark on Texas folklore. It stands as a symbol of tragedy, of violence, and of the mysteries that linger in the dark corners of America. For over a century, people have gone looking for the Goatman, and whether they found him or not, they never left the bridge unchanged. So the question remains: if you found yourself alone at midnight on Goatman's Bridge, would you dare to speak his name 3 times? Would you listen for the sound of hooves approaching, or would you run before he claimed you as his own? If you enjoyed this journey into America's darkest legends, like the video, subscribe, and join us as we uncover all 50 states. Until next time, beware the Goatman.